The fourth day of Holy Week is known as either Holy Wednesday or Spy Wednesday. And since we called Monday and Tuesday holy days, let's change it up a little bit and use the word spy. This is traditionally known as the day that Judas met with religious leaders to arrange his betrayal of Jesus. Matthew 26 gives us the events of the day, starting with the chief priests and elders of the people gathering with the high priest to plot a way to arrest and kill Jesus. They just needed an accomplice from Jesus' inner circle to work with them. And what was the event that gave them the accomplice? Let's read Matthew 26, verse 6 through 13. Now when Jesus was at Bethany, in the house of Simon the leper, a woman came up to him with an alabaster flask, a very expensive ointment, and she poured it on his head as he reclined at the table. And when the disciples saw it, they were indignant, saying, "Why this waste? For this could have been sold for a large sum and given to the poor." But Jesus, aware of this, said to them, "Why do you trouble the woman? For she has done a beautiful thing to me. For you will always have the poor with you, but you will not always have me. In pouring this ointment on my body, she has done it to prepare me for burial. Truly I say to you, wherever this gospel is proclaimed in the whole world, what she has done will also be told in memory of her." Now, it's possible that multiple disciples were upset over the waste of such expensive ointment, but we know for a fact that Judas had had enough. In fact, John 12, the Gospel of John, tells us that it was Judas who questioned the woman and the waste of ointment. John also gives us a first-hand account of what the other disciples knew about Judas, and it's in verse 6 of chapter 12. He said this, meaning Judas, not because he cared about the poor, but because Judas was a thief, and he had charge over the money bag that he used to help himself to what was put into it. So now it's important to understand that the Bible doesn't tell us the chronological order of Holy Week and how the events happened, but it certainly makes a lot of sense that Spy Wednesday would be the day that set the wheels in motion for the Last Supper, the arrest in the garden, and ultimately the crucifixion of Jesus. The Gospel of Luke tells us this chilling fact about Judas on Spy Wednesday. It's in Luke 22. It says, "Now the festival of unleavened bread, called the Passover, was approaching, and the chief priests and the teachers of the law were looking for some way to get rid of Jesus, for they were afraid of the people." Verse 3 says, "Then Satan entered Judas, called Iscariot, one of the 12. And Judas went to the chief priests and the officers of the temple guard and discussed with them how he might betray Jesus. They were delighted and agreed to give him money. He consented and watched for an opportunity to hand Jesus over to them when no crowd was present." This was Spy Wednesday. And for Judas, there was no turning back now. He had the money in his hand, and the betrayal was imminent.